So when I was originally thinking of this video, it was going to be a Gooner Gamer Gooner Part 2 video, but this time about God of War Laufey. Then the trailer or the teaser for the Ocarina of Time remake came out, and that also got some hate. And so I want to talk about like new thing bad being very prevalent. It's definitely a loud minority, but it's still a very loud minority. I say this all the time with these types of videos because when you truly think about it, it is a loud minority a lot of the time. When you have people who are like, "Oh, I'm going to boycott Hogwarts Legacy," and then it sold 2 million copies. Like clearly a lot of these people who are allowed, or these subsets that are allowed, really are loud because the people who are content with the content that they are given are not constantly making bitchy posts about it. But people like me still have to defend the content and fight against these types of posts because it's still damaging. Even though it's a loud minority of people, it's still very damaging to whatever brand or to whatever somebody else might think of a product, because it does kind of leak into what other people think. You have your favorite YouTuber and like, let's say it's Asmongold for some dumb reason. Like, for some reason you like him, and then he spouts what he said about Laufey, and now because you trust this YouTuber, you're gonna think the same thing as he said because you can't actually form your own opinions. Which, yes, I am also making a rant video, but I would hope that, if you agree with my points, you agree with me. But if you don't agree with my points, for one way or another, there's a reason for that. Except for my objective truth points, like how these type of people who say stuff like Laufey, Faye isn't hot, which is wrong, or that the Ocarina of Time remake looks like AI slop, which it doesn't. Calling those types of people is just the truth. But this has been happening a lot where I feel like nostalgia has such a grip on people's balls that they cannot, like, anything that changes what they think of a series or think of a game, anything that changes the status quo is automatically bad. Or if they don't have, like, if a remake is happening or a sequel's happen, and it's not the exact thing that they have thought of. It's like, this is, I have a thought, I have an image in my brain that this is exactly how this game is going to go. And then the creator's like, well, we're going to do this instead. Or, not instead, because they don't know what the fuck you're thinking. But we're like, we're going to do this. And then this is not what you think. So then you're like, well, this sucks because this is not what I exactly want 100%. And that seems to be, like, the entitlement of gamers with that has been aggressive and annoying. So, like, with the Laufey stuff, where we are playing a side story with Kratos' wife who died, and we learn about the god afterlife, and so then she's actually going through an afterlife, which can and does happen. Obviously, certain myths have their own afterlives, like Greek myth has Hades, where Kratos did die, go to Hades, and broke out of. So that shouldn't be immersion breaking in a game about killing gods. But it is centering around Kratos' wife, and people have an issue with that, and I think those issues are dumb. If you want to play God of War because you want to play as Kratos and you have an attachment to Kratos, that's fine, but thinking that the game is bad because it is based around a different character is wrong. Side stories can exist, and people think it's like, well, it's using the God of War name. Yeah, because that's the name of the series. Like, Kratos isn't the God of War. He has less screen time as God of War than a fucking Rocket League match. Like, it was at the very end of God of War 1 and the very beginning of God of War 2, where he was titled God of War. It was called that in the first game because you were trying to kill Ares. And then that just became the franchise name. and that name is attached to Kratos, sure. And there's a lot of references to God of Wars, even in the 2018 and Ragnarok. But here's the thing. There is also God of Wars in the trailer. We have 2 other God of Wars in this God Afterlife. So, like, the name still fits, and also it's just the name of the franchise. Arguably, the 2 best Halo games to come out that people worship, that people cherish, Halo ODST and Halo Reach, are the games without Master Chief. Like, Master Chief, the main character, the character that people were like, this guy is a cool guy. He is the face of Halo. 2 of the arguably best games in the series doesn't have Master Chief, but are still fantastic games, and I don't remember hearing anybody bitch about that. And again, they are regarded as the best games of the franchise before, Bungie left. So to think that games cannot be derivative and cannot go off of side stories that have other characters is just wrong. Fantastic games can happen out of that, and I'm going to guess, because Santa Monica has a very fantastic track record, I'm going to guess that this game's also going to be good. And it's still related to Kratos because it's Kratos' wife, and she had a vision of him in the 20-minute gameplay trailer. Like, he's still prevalent, and he's also just prevalent because, again, Kratos' wife. And then people thinking that Faye is ugly is wrong. Like, she's super hot. People making, like, having the comparison image of her just waking up, that why she just died and she woke up in an afterlife. She doesn't have makeup, and she's surprised, and she's messy. And they're calling that the, uglification. But if you look at just the gameplay footage, if you look at other screenshots, yeah, no, she looks almost exactly like the model that, the voice actress who depicts her, whom is also very attractive. And then people using the new, like, Stellar Blade as a comparison of, like, Western gamers and Japanese game developers. Like, you want your characters to look like anime characters? Like, if that's your criteria for what's hot, go outside, you fucking gooner. If your criteria for hot is hentai, then I don't know what to tell you. And this comes from somebody who likes hot anime chicks. I'm all about that. I also like hot real women. And games who depict women more real are also attractive. These things can exist. Also, and if she just happens to not be your type, which is wild, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Also, a main character shouldn't be there for you to goon to, for you to enjoy the experience. Like, do you think people really played Medieval and been like, oh yeah, that skeleton with no jaw and a super wide face that is not at all attractive? Yeah, like, I find that attractive. That's why I play Medieval, or Crash Bandicoot, or Spyro, or Ratchet and Clank, even though I know Ratchet is kind of furry bait, especially with the most recent release, because then you have, like, a cute Lombax. Or, like, Donkey Kong. Like, people don't play these games because they're attracted to the characters. They play these games because they're fun. You could have a not attractive character and still have fun with the game and still have a great character and have a great story. But also, Faye is not ugly, so, like, that is also still a moot point. But even if she was ugly, which she's not, it doesn't matter. It really boils down to new thing bad. This thing is different than the thing I know, so that means it's automatically bad. And we're getting a lot of that, like, the discourse over Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. It's been constant with those games where, oh, well, this is not like the traditional Zelda I know. I can't handle change, so these games suck and trash, or they're not real Zelda games. Which, by the way, they are 100% real Zelda games. They are, one, you don't get to decide what the fuck a Zelda game is. The developers do. But also, the game, Zelda is about puzzles and exploration. And Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf, or something related to those people. And that's what this game gives you. It gives you puzzles, and it gives you exploration. And really, like what a lot of people say, it's very true to the OG Zelda 1, where they give you a world, and then you go in it, and you find shit out. And despite what the naysayers think, Breath of the Wild changed the gaming industry and how people look at action adventure games, just like Ocarina of Time did before that, and just like the original Zelda did before that. But new thing bad. This is not like the thing I grew up with, so it must be bad. Even though a series needs to evolve, and I mean evolve, not completely change itself, but it needs to evolve in order to stay relevant. You thinking that the game should just be the same, collect 3 things, then unlock next part of game to collect 5 more things, to then fight final boss over and over and over again, it's gonna get stale, and Skyward Sword showed that it was gonna get stale. The big thing about Skyward Sword, outside of a lot of issues like I said in my Zelda tier video, is that the formula, even if you think it's a good game, even if you think it's one of the best Zelda games, you could still see, and a lot of people have saw that style was getting stale, and that Zelda was not going to move forward if they didn't do something big. And Breath of the Wild was that something big, something fresh, something new to then shake up the formula and shake up the industry, and that's what it did. And it sold more than every other Zelda game for a reason. And those games are not even my favorite games. Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game. I think it perfected the original Zelda formula. It took what Ocarina of Time did and made it big, and it still had an interesting overworld. Even if it seems empty, it feels grand. Unlike Wind Waker, where yes, it is big, but it's just blue ocean after a while. Which as a kid feels cool. As an adult, the more you play, you're like, okay, I'm just on a blue thing right now. Wind Waker's still a fantastic game, by the way. But then also Twilight Princess, T-Games. Twilight Princess also is not bogged down by a Triforce quest like Wind Waker is, like I think it is. Now, it gets replaced with the book quests, but that one's much easier and much more manageable, and they literally tell you on the map, hey, go here to put things in book. Cool, awesome. I have a Dominion rod now. So that's coming from somebody who his favorite game is Twilight Princess, and I think Breath of the Wild needed to happen for Zelda to go forward. And this leads me to the Ocarina of Time remake talk. Now, many people are excited. The majority is excited. We have reaction videos of people crying, and then we have reaction videos of people not knowing it's Ocarina of Time, even though you hear sorry song, but I get it, like, you're still in disbelief of like what's happening, and there's a lot of things happening on your stream. I get it. And then when they see, first of all, people jumping to conclusions, and they see a few seconds of Child Link, and be like, okay, well, I have a pre-notion of what the entire game is going to look like and feel like, and I hate it. Like, one, stop making assumptions. Just like wait till things actually get released. And 2, people talking about the art style of this game. It's the same art style. It is Ocarina of Time's art style. It's just 28 years later. Like, it is the same art style revamped. You're used to the, polygonal 64, graphics, but I don't think you guys understand what art style is compared to what graphics are. They are very revamped graphics. It looks shiny. It looks new. But that doesn't mean the art style is different. From the little bit, like, we do have to see more. Maybe they did change the art style drastically. But from what I see, it's the same art style as Ocarina of Time on the N64. Just, again, 28 years later, where we have high fidelity graphics to then actually convey what they were trying to convey back in 1998. And then all the assumptions of people thinking like, oh, well, I don't want this to be like Breath of the Wild. I want this to be exactly the same. And if it's not exactly the same, just with updated graphics, then I don't want it. Like, let things evolve. Like, they're going to modernize it in some way, shape, or form. I don't think they're going to pull a Final Fantasy VII remake deal, but I don't think they're going to, just remake the 3DS version either. Like, I think they are going to change it up enough to warrant it being a full remake. Obviously, there's probably gonna be voiced cutscenes, and stuff like that. But I think the story is going to be intact. Because also, it's still an Ocarina of Time remake. The story still has to be intact in order for things to... for it to be, you know, fit nicely in the timeline, you know? But yeah, that's another case of new thing bad. And also, like, yeah, again, the type of people who called it AI, like, it looks like AI is like, AI has brain rotted you people. Like, you guys are so internet chronically online brain rotted that anything that might either be an imperfection, like the cover art for the new Nintendo Switch bundle with all the Kingdom Hearts games, just because things are different and not perfect means it's AI, which no, it's definitely not. It's you can tell it's an art style. It's not AI. Like, AI uses references. The AI doesn't create new things. And also, if you're a true Zelda fan, you would know that Nintendo would not use AI for making games, and if they would never hire any developer that would use AI if they found out about AI. The wrath of the gaming gods will then strike down on them, and they will never develop games for anybody ever again, because Nintendo is very anti-AI, like generative AI. So I don't see that happening. But it's like, oh wow, but this looks like it's in Unreal Engine, and because it has a realistic look and it's shiny. Like, again, we've only seen so much of it anyway. Just wait for the project to come out, and also just be happy. Like, just stop thinking that just because it's different than what you think it will be, that it's bad, or or a series evolves or has a side game that is bad. Like, you could not like things, but you could also be reasonable about it if you're not gonna like it. Anyway, that's my opinion. So this is basically what it was like, Gunnar Bait hate 2.0 video, whatever I called it, whatever. But really, it's just me venting about new things coming out that people are shitting on for no reason. Anyway, I'm gonna buy both of those games, by the way. I'm 100% getting God of War and Ocarina of Time Remake. And I'm gonna have fun.